All right, here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of MCD Live with the Mighty Champions. And as we were talking about how we can be completely honest with our emotions, we were discussing how it takes a physical toll on us when we are trying to suppress our emotions, and how we instead of naming them, instead of letting them process, we just try to suppress them, we just try to fight them. Today we are going to talk about something very similar. um, a lot of us have a tendency to feel things much stronger, much much more deeply than others, right? And for instance, if you're a therapist, if you're a coach, a leader, a mother, a parent, a father, or just a friend, let's say just a friend who everyone calls when they are in the middle of a conflict or an issue or a problem, and you're the go-to person for them, right? And we actually live in a culture that people tell us that lie about empathy, that when you are that person, you have to be absolutely selfless. You have to be extremely overgiving in order to be the empathetic person, right? We are taught that in order to feel, or in order to prove that we care for someone, we have to match their level of pain, their level of stress. We carry everything that people have shared with us on our shoulders, and we start panicking on our own. But if you talk about it logically, just think about it. How much of your current situation, your current exhaustion? Yesterday we talked about burnout. Yesterday we talked about burnout. Yesterday we talked about mental fatigue and the toll of suppressing your emotions, right? If you talk about it honestly, just think and reflect for a second and reflect that how much of the emotional load that is on your shoulders is your own. When you look at the entire week, the entire past week, think about it. The people you interacted with, your kids, your clients, your partners, your colleagues, your team, everybody comes to you when you are anxious. They're angry. Sorry, they are angry, they are anxious, or they are overwhelmed. And just because you care, just because you're the empathetic person, as we talked about yesterday, that version of yourself you have to keep intact, you open the door. Open the door of empathy. But what happens after the people leave? After your interaction with them ends? Well, you can share how you feel about it. You can share it in the chat box. I'll tell you how I feel about it. Very often, when I'm not taking care of my own emotions, I end up feeling drained. I end up feeling very irritable. But even after the interaction has ended, you can imagine that I would be feeling like someone took and shrunk all the mental energy that I had, right? So you can share how you feel about it. You can share how you feel when someone shares their pain with you in the chat box. I'll be looking at it. If it's okay if you don't feel like doing it, but you can definitely share if you want to. So, if someone, let's look at it that way. If someone who you love is drowning in the middle of an ocean, right? Or they're in the middle of a huge trouble, they are struggling. Would you jump in the ocean to help them out, to take them out? Or would you jump into the deep end just to save them? Do you think you'll be able to save them if you don't know how to swim? And what exactly is going to happen after you jump in to save them? There are going to be two disasters. There'll be two drowning people. There won't be one who's safe. There won't be two who are saved. There're just going to be two disasters, two big disasters, and that's not very healthy, is it? And that's exactly what happens when you are trying to help someone out trying to help someone with a dysregulated nervous system. You try to help them out, and you end up absorbing all their pain to a point where your own nervous system becomes dysregulated. So what what fruit does that bring? How does that benefit you? Absolutely not at all, right? So today we're going to talk about how we can help people out, how we can be empathetic without just losing our own self in the middle of it, right? And that's possible. You don't have to be that person um where you can where you can be empathetic. You don't have to be that person where you lose all your energy. If you lose all your energy, you're not going to remain the empathetic person people refer you as, right? So yesterday we did a small exercise. We did a mindfulness exercise where we talked about letting that stress, that load that is standing and sitting on your shoulders as a result of pretense, as a result of pretending to be someone you're not, as a result of keeping your image intact, as the person who is very strong, as the person who's very composed, who doesn't get angry, who doesn't get sad, and to keep that picture of you intact. You're always like this, and you're always like this, and your jaws are clenched, and your eyebrows, they're like this. We did a small exercise yesterday, and we're going to do something very, very similar today as well. Like if you were holding anything at all, let it go, put it aside, put it anywhere. It's a phone, it's your laptop, put it in front of you. If it's a pen, put it next to you. Leave your hands completely loose. Just let your hands drop like this. Like don't hold anything at all. And lean yourself all the way back to your seat, wherever you are sitting, and just relax. Just try to put yourself free at the moment, right? And at this moment, try to feel the weight, the physical weight of your body that is pressing against the chair. Try to feel that. Try to feel yourself. Try to feel the weight of your bodies. And wherever you are sitting, whether it's a chair, it's the bed, it's the sofa, it's the whatever surface it is, let it take over the job of holding you and supporting your weight. And try to put your hands to the side, and for the next few minutes, just try to move your shoulders down like this, just like we did yesterday. Try to lose your body. Try to relax your jaws. And if it's comfortable for you, because some people don't find it comfortable, if it's comfortable for you, try to close your eyes. Just try to close your eyes and let your body relax. And keep them closed till I ask you to open them. Yesterday, we practiced an activity at the end of our session about how thoughts pass through our mind like visitors. Today, we're going to do something totally different, right? Um, Yesterday, we imagined that our mind is like a room, and we have a front door and the back door. The thought comes in from the front door and leaves through the back door. Today, right inside your body, you're going to do a grounding tool that you will be using whenever you are in an interaction where you feel like someone's stress is taking over your nervous system. So you can do it like that, right? So it's a very simple exercise. Keep your eyes closed, keep your body loose, just like we let it loose, and bring your entire focus onto your feet, to your feet, and feel the exact spot where the sole of your shoes or your socks or your bare feet, they meet the floor. Just focus that point. And notice the pressure that you're putting against the floor. Your feet are putting against the floor. Do you feel that it's heavier on your heels, or you feel like it's heavier on your toes? How does it feel? How does it feel like? Just observe it. Don't try to leave them loose. Just observe that pressure you are putting against the floor. The floor is completely solid. It's holding you right now. So just focus on it. And now slowly bring your awareness to your hands. As you let your hands loose, you had put everything that you were holding aside. So notice exactly where your hands are touching. My hands are touching. My hands are touching here on the floor, on the carpet, on the cushion. Try to notice the fabric where your hands are lying or resting, the armrest, or it's just in the air, but you're not supposed to let them in the air. You're supposed to let them rest. Just pay attention to the atmosphere around you, to the temperature around you. Are your palms warm or are they cold? How do you feel in your fingertips? How does it feel at those very fingertips? Now bring your awareness to the center of your chest. You don't have to change how you breathe, okay? Just notice, just feel it. Yesterday we did a breathing exercise. Right now you don't have to do it. Just focus in the center of your chest and feel the slight physical rise and fall of your ribs as you breathe in and breathe out. We're not doing any kind of breathing exercises. Just focus on the natural way you actually breathe, the automatic movement of your lungs. Just focus on that. Just focus on your chest and how it feels when you are breathing in and out. Then try to divide your attention. Try to divide your attention on your feet, on your hands, on your chest, all together. And focus on all three at the same time. All three at the same time. Try to focus and keep your eyes closed. This is your safe place. This is where you're safe. This is who you are. This is the person who you are. And outside of this physical boundary that you have is everybody else's noise. What everybody else is doing could not get into this part of you. That focus on your feet, on your chest, on your hands. Nobody can get in there. Everything outside of it is just outside of it. And the inside boundary is your solid ground, where you're holding your feet against the ground, where you're leaning against the seat you're sitting on, where you're putting your hands down. So this is who you are. And for the next 30 seconds, this is exactly who you are. And every time your mind tries to drift back to your to-do list or someone else's worry, someone else's problems, just try to bring your focus back to your feet, to your hands, to your chest. Just stay who you are and tell yourself again that my nervous system belongs to me. My nervous system belongs to me. My nervous system belongs to me. And keep this truth sit in your brain, in your mind, that your nervous system is your own and it belongs to no one else. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. You can slowly bring your focus back. and open your eyes to the session so we can talk more about how you can handle such situations. Let's bring back our focus. You can share it in the chat box how this made you feel, and you can share how whether you feel grounded, whether you feel better or at peace, or did it help in any way? Okay. It's all right. All right. So do we have any messages? No, we don't. We don't. All right. Okay, so let's come to the next part of our session. Just a second. Just a second. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Sally Gupta. Thank you so much. Okay, let's move forward to. All right. So, when we talk about the psychology of what happens when we care for people, when we try to care too much for people, um, this is called we can refer to it as emotional bleeding. When you know someone is talking to you and we don't have the skill to handle that stress, right? We don't know how to handle that situation. We can call it emotional bleeding. We are not able to control it. We are not able to manage it. At the same time, we want to help someone out, but we are losing ourselves. When we are extremely empathetic, when we are extremely caring towards other people, your mirror neurons, they become extremely active, and this is the thing with people who have extreme and great level of empathy. Their mirror neurons become extremely active. So when someone is walking into the room, a lot of you might have noticed it, who are empathetic, who are very empathetic, you might have noticed that whenever there's a person who walks into a room and they are anxious, you might feel like something you can call they are radiating that anxiety. They are showing their, people use the word energy. There is an anxious energy around this person who has just walked inside the room. So, what happens? When you are deeply empathetic, your nervous system will start to detect it and you will try to match that level of anxiety. And if you don't have the conscious skill to interrupt that process, what will happen? Your brain will automatically merge your identity with their emotional state. And you stop being a separate person. You will not be the person who is actually going to help them through their problem. And you will actually become the problem yourself, unfortunately. Right? So this is something very common. You might have heard someone say that I can't handle around being so and so. They are so negative. They drain my energy. They drain me. Right? You might have heard that a lot, that certain so and so person, she drained my energy. I can't just handle sitting next to her because she's so exhausting at times. She's always negative, she's always emotional. And what happens is that it's not that people are draining you, it's just that your nervous system is lacking those emotional boundaries. That is exactly what's resulting in you getting drained, you feeling that. So in that sense, you can say you are paying a very heavy price for being empathetic. You are paying a very heavy cost of being empathetic. Yesterday we said there's a physical toll of keeping an image intact, of keeping your a version of you intact. That physical toll shows up in your body. It shows up in your shoulders, on your face. People look exhausted at times. They look extremely burned out at times by the end of the day, by the end of the week. Right? Sundays usually look very exhausting for people. They're like, oh, I have to go through this entire week all over again. And the issue is that you can definitely manage it. Okay, when you absorb everyone's emotional frequency, you end up in a survival mode. You become hyper reactive. And yesterday we talked about burnout. We talked about how it makes you irritable, right? Instead of showing empathy to people, instead of helping people out, you will become numb. You won't be able to help anybody out. And it goes out especially to therapists and to parents of young children. You will become numb once you are you become you come to a point where you feel like your brain is just occupied with managing your managing the moods of other people, and you will feel neglected in the meanwhile. So during this time, what is very important for you is to stay grounded, right? And staying grounded is not an inherent personality trait. Like a lot of people think empathy is a inherent personality trait. Staying grounded can be learned. Staying grounded can be taught. It can be something that can absolutely be learned, right? You can manage yourself and you can help people along the way. It can both go side by side. So there are three steps to doing that. Okay, the first step is, as we just exercised in the beginning of the session, whenever you are in a situation like this, where you are interacting with a person you think is too negative, and they are radiating bad energy, or they're radiating anxiety, they are radiating this, that. At that moment, try to get back to it. Relax. Look at yourself. When someone is venting to you or crying in front of you, your instinct is to you lean forward, you look straight into their eyes, and you hold your breath. And you're like very focused on them. And you're like, oh my God, really? Is that what happened? And you're absolutely absorbed in the moment, right? So at that point, what do you have to do? What should you do? You do the exact opposite of that. Do the exact opposite of it. Yes, nonverbal cues are very important when it comes to communication, but your nonverbal communication can be absolutely okay and normal and fine and great, even if you don't lean forward and you're like, oh my God, and your eyes are like this, right? You can lean back, you can stay relaxed, and you just focus on your own self. Don't forget yourself in the process of trying to care for someone else. So the first step is bring your focus back to your body. Relax your body, lean your shoulders to the back, and wherever you are sitting, put your focus on your breath, on your chest, on your feet, on your hand. Don't absorb yourself to a point where you become dysfunctional. And the first step to that is bring your focus back to your body, right? The second part of this, the second part of handling the situation, it is to name your emotions separately from this. If someone, you might have noticed that whenever someone is going through something bad or they tell you something unfortunate, your immediate response to them could be, oh, I can completely, I have been through it. I also feel like this. But you know, when someone you love is in a spiral, and it's when they're, of course, it's great to be empathetic and it's good to share. But at the same time, when someone you know or who and someone you love, they're spiraling, they're in a state of grief, they're in a state of pain, they actually want someone who is calm and supportive and not dysregulated. So they can lean on you, right? If you are also in a state where you are feeling terrified after hearing them, after listening to them, how would they feel leaning on you, right? How would they feel that they would be supported by someone who himself or herself is dysregulated, right? So try to separate your emotions from the person you are with, from whatever they're sharing. Their emotions are not yours to carry. They are their emotions, their pain, their anxiety is not for you to carry. And you must explicitly separate both of them. All right. Your emotions belong to you, their emotions belong to them. And you can validate someone's pain without actually uh, actually feeling afraid and terrified because the person in front of you is feeling terrified, right? Then the third part is practicing a deliberate return to who you were from the encounter, all right? When the encounter is over, all right? Most of us, especially therapists, and we have something we say that we carry what we had in a certain session throughout the day, throughout the week. We're thinking about it, we are talking about it, but we don't. It's probably and mostly because we don't give ourselves the time to get back to who we were before the session. As soon as an interaction like that is over, as soon as an interaction where someone shared their pain with you, as soon as that interaction is over, what happens? We pick up our phone, we start scrolling on Instagram, on social media, and let's for those of you who have kids, we'll start our interaction with kids, and we'll just move on with our life without giving ourselves the time to ground ourselves, right? We jump into one task to the next task and to the third task and to the fourth task without giving ourselves any kind of break. And one of the greatest reasons is our mobile phone, right? And we just start scrolling and scrolling and scrolling just to divert our mind and not giving ourselves the space to heal before we can move on. So it's like a physical reset when you do that. You wash your hands whenever something like an encounter like this happens. You give yourself the time to relax, to just sit down with yourself. Wash your hands with cold water. Shake your arms, and you can walk for 2 minutes inside your house, outside your house, and just tell yourself, tell your brain that this interaction was over and now I'm coming back to myself. I'm coming back to myself, right? Now, all of this does not make you in any way a person with less compassion, all right? This is just something we can say that we have been taught a very bad definition of empathy. You can be compassionate to others, you can be empathetic to others, and at the same time, you can be compassionate to yourself. Unless you're compassionate to your own self, how would you be able to anchor the same energy for someone else? When you are becoming dysfunctional, how will you help someone else become functional? You cannot, right? So, in circumstances like this, you should always follow these 3 steps. Bring your focus to your body and name your emotions, separate your emotions. Then the third part is coming back to who you were before that interaction. That is very important. That is very, very important. You don't drown in that particular emotion, in that particular interaction to a point where you yourself become dysfunctional, right? And one of the ways you can do this is by washing your hands with cold water, doing the exercise we did in the beginning. This is going to help you a lot. And this is something, as I said in the beginning, when you see someone you love drowning, you don't jump in the deep end. It's not going to help you out. There are going to be 2 disasters, and you don't want 2 disasters that you have to manage. You need to help someone out by staying at a stable ground yourself. You cannot help someone out by drowning yourself in the ocean, right? So when you look at things from this perspective, your presence changes. Your presence changes. You will see that people are no longer draining you. You are yourself, you are empathetic, but at the same time, people see you as a present person who is there to help them out and is not getting terrified or affected because they are sharing something with you. So you stop being what we can call a sponge that absorbs everything around them. You you become like you become like a transformer that is stabilizing things, right? Instead of a sponge, you become a transformer, right? That's how you can look at things. So you can always practice that in situations like this. People can bring their issues to you, their problems to you. They can share their feelings with you. And instead of multiplying them, you being in a grounded state can actually help them look at what safety looks like instead of being an absorber of those emotions, right? So, this is what it looks like. Yeah, please. I just saw the chat box. Please share your questions if you have any. All right. You can definitely ask questions. All of you should be able to see the chat box. You can share your questions in the chat box. Please go ahead.
So it's very interesting. Obviously, I'm not a therapist, so I don't listen to people's emotional issues day in and day out. But one of the basic principle of empathy is to put yourself in somebody else's shoes.
Hmm.
And unless you can do that, uh, it's very hard. In fact, I feel that in current world, people are not empathetic because they don't know how to put themselves in somebody else's shoes.
Hmm.
And so the first skill you have to learn is to be able to sync with the person that you are talking to into their emotional understanding, emotional, and then only then you can make some connection that, okay, I see this person is suffering, and what can I do to help? And you're right, you you can't get overwhelmed. Um, as a professional, I see your point. Um, so it's a balance that you need to be there, but you can't be there and become overwhelmed. So how do you?
Hmm. That's actually a very valid question. Anybody who would be hearing about, who knows about empathy would definitely have that thing, that question come up in their mind. Definitely, that's a very valid point because the basic principle of empathy is actually what makes empathy different from sympathy is that when you are being empathetic towards someone, you actually place yourself in their shoes. That is absolutely right. Now, when you are placing yourselves in their shoes, what is the skill that matters at the end of the day? You don't, the entire point of empathy is not just to feel. The output, the outcome of feeling empathy is equally important. When you don't know how to come back from it, when you don't know how to separate yourself from it, you can do those two things simultaneously. You can feel for someone. You can feel how they must have felt. You can imagine their situation. And at the same time, you can differentiate and your between yourself and the others. That is a skill that needs to be worked upon. You have to, at the end of the day, return back to who you are. You can feel for someone, you can feel bad for someone, and you can feel empathetic for someone. But at the same time, the entire point that I'm trying to make is that you must know what is the right time to come back from it. Because when you keep on getting to a point where you keep on indulging yourself in that facade of feeling for someone, there'll be a point when you want where you won't be able to help the other person out. The basic idea behind having empathy is so you could help people out feel better, feel relaxed, feel known, feel seen. And once you have a dysregulated nervous system, when you are absorbing everything that they are feeling, and you are in a state where you yourself are dysregulated, then I don't think so they will be feeling any benefit of your empathy. They will be feeling like there's another dysregulated person in front of them. They will feel like there's no help out there. So the skill here that we are talking about is that you must always know when to return back. You must always know. You must have that conscious sense where you should be able to come back and bring back your focus once an interaction is over. And once an interaction is going on, of course, you should feel how they are feeling. Of course, should try, but you should not try to merge your feelings and your emotions with theirs. There's a difference between um, trying to imagine or trying to feel what others are feeling and getting absorbed in it to a point where you become dysfunctional. That is the basic difference that can actually help someone out with taking the most benefit out of being the empathetic person that you are. That's a very, very great question that could come to anybody's mind who knows how empathy actually is. So, anybody else have any questions, or we can move on to next part and the last part of this, a small activity, and we can. Okay, I don't see anybody have any questions. Okay, all right. Okay, just like yesterday, we won't be doing any kind of activity where we did the visitor activity where your thoughts are a visitor, your emotions are a visitor. So just let them come, let them go. In today's session, we're going to do something similar. Just place your hand on your chest. You can place your left hand on your stomach and try to feel the sensation. Try to feel what's going on in your body. Try to feel the rhythm of your own heart. Here's the heart, right? Yes. Try to feel your own heart, your heartbeat. And just like we focused in the beginning, focus on your feet, focus on your hands, focus on your chest. You don't have to close your eyes. You can keep them open and just try to feel your heartbeat, observe your heartbeat and what's going on in your stomach. Hold, put your left hand on your stomach, put your right hand on your chest, and keep on telling yourself that I can care for others. I can manifest the empathy I have to support others without losing myself in the process. I can care for others while remaining entirely myself, while being who I am by not compromising on my own emotional wellness, by not compromising on my own well-being. I can still care for people. I can still listen to people without letting go of my sense of being, without letting go of my control on my emotions and emotional well-being. And as you walk outside of this session today in your life, people who rely on you always remember one thing, that you can listen to them, you can take care of them. But for that, you need to be grounded, you need to be emotionally well yourself. You need to be emotionally at peace, stable yourself in order to support someone else. And you cannot pour, as we've always heard, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot anchor a ship if you are drifting out to sea yourself. You have to take care of your own self. You have to support your own self in order to support someone else. And take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. and tell yourself that I am capable of caring and being empathetic without without becoming dysfunctional myself, without compromising on who I am as a person. You can be yourself without giving up on who you are, without giving up on empathy, without giving up on caring for others. You can be yourself. You can take care of yourself, remain functional, and still take care of other people and still be compassionate. Keep repeating this to yourself. Now you can come back to the moment. And before we end the sessions, I would like to know if anybody has anything to share or any question that they want to ask. Eileen, thank you so much. The effort you are putting in is really appreciable. Hope the message reaches more people and they'll all be able to receive the gift you are willing to share with all of them. Thank you so much. They're such kind words. It means a lot. We really hope
Thank you.
people can actually benefit.
Thank you, Aisha. That was very good. And
Thank you.
I know it is very common uh, for people who are in profession of helping others to get overwhelmed and taken over. And these points will clearly help those. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sunil. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining in. See you tomorrow at same time, same link on MCD Live. Bye-bye. Have a great day.